decided to be going to Seattle this weekend. I'm at the airport. It's super early. It's about 7 a.m. But I hopped into the car around 6:30 a.m. It's okay because I have my coffee, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to just chat a little bit about what the interview process looks like when you're applying for a sustainability role. It really does differ, but some of the common things that have happened as I've interviewed in the past is that you first, get a call from the hiring recruiter, and then they're the person who looks at your resume and really asks you some of those basic questions like, tell me about yourself, why you're interested in this role in this company. And this interview can last from about 5 minutes. I had one that was 5 minutes long. He kind of just checked the boxes. It can last up to an hour sometimes. So it really just depends on who you're conversing with the length of time that will happen. The next part would be to interview with the hiring manager. And the hiring manager, I'd say, is probably one of the most important people during this interview because you're the ones who's looking to fill this role. So they're gonna really make sure that what you have and what you can offer really does highly correlate to what's on the job description, and we'll ask you a lot of scenario questions. At least that's what I've experienced, and really just have a deep conversation sometimes about the environmental process in corporations. Since my roles have focused a lot on corporate sustainability, sometimes the hiring manager likes to share about what's going on at their company, and then try to have a conversation in that way. And that's your opportunity to really show them what you know in the space and what you don't know. Like, for example, I've had conversations about my thoughts on Sephora's clean beauty program, and this was because I realized that this team, they really do focus on green messaging and storytelling to guests and customers. And so when they asked me this question, what I thought about it, it was just a coincidence that this thing is playing. The day before, I was actually researching a bit more on the clean beauty program, so I was able to tell them my actual thoughts on it, and that I thought they were in a way greenwashing because the amount of chemicals that they omit from their products is very little compared to even what the European standard is, which is thousands and thousands of chemicals and ingredients. Though it is better than the US's restrictions, it's still not super amazing. You know what I mean? So additionally, that's where I was also able to flex on some of the consulting experiences that I've had. Like, I was asked questions as if they were getting free consultation, which is kind of annoying, honestly. But it was also my chance to really let them know what I've done, what other clients have done, and in that can show them that I can bring this institutional knowledge that I've been developing into their company. So in this next stage, after the hiring manager, what you'll typically do is have some interviews with stakeholder teams, and this can be in a panel, or this can just be one-off interviews with all of them. I've been in situations where I only needed to talk to 2 different teams. I've talked in a group interview with 3 of them at once. It really just depends, and that's what's really going to be stressful because you're really just going to be sharing the same story over and over and over again, and hoping that they buy into what you're saying and that you do have the skills that qualifies and also goes beyond what's required of the job. But then also you're a very personable person and you can get along with all of those teams that you're interviewing with. Finally, after going to the panel, if you make it to the stage, I'd say this one is more the consideration call. Sometimes it'll just stop here. So then in total, you just have the recruiter, the hiring manager, and some of the stakeholder teams. But there are some cases where you might be meeting with the most highest level person that you'll be working with on that team. So like a director or a C-suite person, they would usually be the last person you interview with. And most of the time it's like a consideration call, just so they can get to know you. You might not even really be working with them so much, but it's just that you'll sit under their team. Yeah, those are pretty much the basic steps. So to recap, it's the recruiter with phone. That one's pretty easy. You can just have some notes there on the screen and like say your answers. Then you'll have your hiring manager. That one will last about 30 minutes to an hour, really depends. Then you'll have your panel interviews with the teams you'll be working with, just to get a feel for you and to make sure that you can really fill in the bucket of what they'll need for you if you were to be in that role. And then finally, you'll be interviewed with the highest level of the person you'll sit under. So it can be a director or a C-suite person. It really just depends. So unfortunately, I even had a chat about this with my dad, but he's going through some interviews right now. It's been about 3 years since he's last interviewed. Before, he'd only go through 2 interviews max. Nowadays, it's crazy how many interviews you have to go through. Like, I've been through 7 and like didn't get it because of reorganization changes. So you never know what's going on in the background, but I hope that can help a bit. But yeah, I'm really excited to go to Seattle and just take a break. I've been working so hard. You don't understand. I've been working so much. So see you guys there. Baby, hi.
You're recording?
Yeah.
Okay. Baby. Ooh, organic apple cider. Let's get some.
Ooh, you want some of that?
Yeah, I want some. I want some apple cider.
Okay. Isn't this place so cute?
Yeah. Very. Yeah.
Well, that's the only place I know that has different flavors. Which one should I get? And then this one.
Dude, this is way more than California. Wow.
Today, we are going to go to the naval warship. Really excited. Don't know anything about it, but it's called USS Destroyer. Let's check it out. So this is what a prison would look like in Vietnam. How they have him shackled to the ground down there and just sitting in confinement. And then apparently this guy and some others were prisoners of war, and a lot of them died in confinement.
Okay, no problem. Catch you later.
Pretty sad.
See you later.
Others prisoners and mouse. Whoa, this is a worse place to die.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I feel like you'd die fast, maybe. Maybe you get squished to death first. Wow. It's where all the magic happens. Now we're below deck. This is where they slept. Gun machine?
Yep, right here.
Whoa. Dude, it's so cramped. It's like cramped, but I'm not claustrophobic about it. Are you claustrophobic?
No, I'm not very claustrophobic. Look how big the projectiles are for this.
Wow.
Oh my god, it's so heavy.
Really?
Dude.
Oh my god. They had to load this stuff.
Steady as you go. Steady as you go as I, sir. Passing 230.
To the campsite. at Olympia in Washington. It's so beautiful. Our campground has this really flat area and there's all these mountains surrounding us. So excited to go on some hikes today because the weather is going to be so beautiful. But before we get there, just wanted to share a little bit more of why it is I decided to go into the industry. And this is what this channel is about, learning more about the sustainability career. What I have to say is that the reason why I came into this industry was because I realized not a lot of people that I knew in my community were doing it, and I was kind of that person who was pretty good at school and did consider being like a doctor and such, but as I started taking more classes in university, I realized that I could essentially use this brain for an area and an industry that might not be as developed yet. So decided that I really wanted to become a doctor for the planet, essentially. So that's pretty much the biggest reason why I got into the industry, though I have had so much back and forth with myself as I was going through undergrad, as I was going through grad school, seeing if these big things that I was trying to accomplish was worth it or not, right? Because in undergrad I had to transfer from one UC to another university, and that was because the program for environmental science was a lot better at the other one that I went to. And then for grad school, that's like a big choice and dedication to make. So during school, after school, I was contemplating if this is actually the direction that I want to go through, or if it's because I've just been in it for a long time. But they always say when you're doing something, really thinking about your why as to why, right? And I do fall back on that a lot. It's like when things get hard, and maybe it's that everything is so technical that when I'm learning I want to be more creative, because I go through those periods of time. I always fall back into realizing and recognizing and remembering that the reason why things are technical right now is because those are the types of skill sets and things that need to be done right now, right? You have to understand everything at that policy level, at the data level, at the science level, to really push all this stuff. The creative aspect now comes a little later on, right? So yeah, just a little bit of why I got into the industry. It'd be super cool to hear why you guys are interested in being in the sustainability environmental field. I think it's so great that there's people around the world that want to do more for themselves, right? They want to help preserve the future generation. As long as there's someone who wants something better for the future, then I'm all about that. So yeah, gonna eat some breakfast now, and I'll see you guys on the hike. Bye.
Remember that lady was like, it's a few miles from here?
Yeah, fuck that lady.
Dude, what are you talking about?
It's right there. Yeah.
Dude,
You should have been like, oh yeah, I just have to.
that ruined my mood.
We said it like 80 times going, and we're gonna
Go, but be careful. That's careful. Yeah.
It feels real good.
Okay, the head is the worst part. Let's just go put it on. No, the feet's the worst. Go ahead.
I can't. Holy shit, I'm a bitch.
Alright. Good shit. Let's go.
So good though.
Really?
The bottom feels nice.
It's all.
They had no choice. That's it.
Yeah.
Woo! We committed!
Get your head.
Okay, go back. Where are you going?
My ancestors are so happy right now.
Dude, I'm doing the jerk.
What happened?
You have to do that.
What happened?
You have to slow down and record this.
I didn't slow down.
Alright.